Hello, we're super excited to be here. My name is Ken Krasnow. I'm the Vice President of the Omnichannel Group in North America, which digital marketing is part of. And I'm sitting here with Paul Breitenbach, the President and Founder of R4 Technologies. And we're super excited to be here to talking to you today about artificial intelligence.
It's great to be here with you guys, and welcome here from Stamford, Connecticut, just a little bit outside of New York City. And I'm delighted to be here with Ken. And we're really excited to talk about what we're doing to help drive Henkel X's mission of driving innovation here in North America.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. And, we're very excited about Henkel X because Henkel X, I think, is infusing our culture with tremendous enthusiasm, optimism, and excitement. The whole idea of being more entrepreneurial in our thinking, reaching outside the organization and bringing new knowledge in to do things better, I think has really captured the minds, the imaginations of people here. And I think there's no better use case than the work that we're doing with Paul and artificial intelligence. But before we get into that, Paul, I just wanted the audience to understand a little bit about you and your background. I know that you are the founder of Priceline.com. Very exciting. Wanted to get a little bit of your kind of just brief history and what led you to R4 and some of the exciting things that you're doing at R4, even beyond Henkel.
That's great. No, thank you, Ken. So R4 is an artificial intelligence company. It's very different than anything that you may have heard about in other places. And it's really built on that same unique DNA that made Priceline so successful. Now, in Europe, people might think of us as Booking.com because there was a big merger that happened, but it was started by us founders of Priceline. And the thing that's interesting about the lessons to learn from the internet era about disruption, about driving innovation into the marketplace, is that the lessons from Priceline and Booking are that data and mathematics are the thing that creates competitive advantage. And what's neat about the Priceline story is that over the last 20 years, there's been an outsized margin creation by Priceline, 30 to 35% in an industry that does around 5%. And people always used to ask, how do you create that competitive advantage? How do you create that mathematical higher profit margin capability? This is really at the center of what Henkel X is trying to do in driving innovation into the business units, right? How do I create that fundamental competitive advantage? And there's a lot of lessons from what we pioneered back in the Priceline era. And this notion of using data and math is the big idea. And there's a lot of complexity to that as we're now launching our program together with your customers, this ability to use data is very complicated. And that's what's neat about our platform is it takes a lot of these tough, complicated areas and makes it easy to use so that the folks within Henkel can bring these innovations into your customers rather than focus all the time on how to bring data together. It just automatically happens.
And I think that's the big piece that's so exciting to me and to my team around artificial intelligence. It is is really surfacing new insights by bringing in more data than we've ever been able to look at before. With massive computational power that's now at our fingertips and advanced thinking with regards to algorithms, artificial intelligence can help us connect the dots where we didn't even know there were dots in the first place.
That's exactly right. So some of the cool examples of data that we're bringing together are shipment data, consumption data, social media data, public data or third-party data that you're already buying, like the Nielsen or maybe TD Lynx, those types of very disparate data sources. And we're combining it together with public data that tells us everything about individual precise store locations and individual precise customers, right? And what's neat about that now is what AI and data and math can do is it can precisely pinpoint not only exactly the products that customers want, but it talks about their need states, which allows you to see stuff that you can never before previously wouldn't have been seen. And that creates huge competitive advantage for the retailer partners because their mission in life is to drive more people to their retail store. And obviously serving their needs better helps them drive more people to their store that has the products that they want.
That's exactly what got one of our big customers extremely excited about artificial intelligence because we were sitting with them and they have the traditional old problems. But what they loved about artificial intelligence was that we're going to now start to look at the old problems in completely different ways, in new ways. And so, for example, two of their problems is driving traffic to the store because they're losing traffic to Amazon and to other online players as well as to brick and mortar players. Plus, they're only getting about 20% of their traffic to cross the laundry aisle. So how do you not only drive people to the store, but how do you get them across to think about laundry and buy laundry? And when we talked about artificial intelligence, their eyes just lit up. Even people who aren't marketers, so the merchandising folks, as well as the marketers, were just kind of wide-eyed as we talked about it. But I think what was key was helping the layperson understand what is artificial intelligence exactly. You've heard Paul and I talking about data and all this big data coming together and connecting dots and finding new insights, but what is it really? And how do you really start to understand this and wrap your mind around it? And AI has been around for a long time. It's been around for 40, 50 years. It's that computational power, it's the new thinking that makes it more accessible, but even that doesn't answer the question. The way our retailer really was able to grasp it was when I used an analogy of bees. So I took them out of data and we just started to talk about something everybody can relate to. So if you think of honeybees, for example, and they live in a hive, well, what happens when that hive breaks in a storm and crashes to the ground? Well, tens of thousands of bees fan out in individual directions looking for the next best place to live. And you can think about these bees for what they are as little individual brains going in all these different directions, and they come back and they download the information together. And I'm not sure exactly how it's done, but you would have to ask the bees. But whatever it is, the outcome is they find the next best place. So all of these thousands of brains have canvassed for miles and miles around. They come back, they bring the insights, and the next best answer, the best answer is chosen.
That's a really great analogy. Actually, my son keeps bees, and he's kept bees for 10 years. So actually, I know a lot about bees, and it's a really great analogy because the bees are able to take data and information, sort of like as we as humans take multiple different types of data, all sensor data, history data of like our experiences, marrying it with current stuff that's going on right in front of you, and we can make decisions. And we can do so with impartial data. So we don't need to know every last precise detail to make a decision that is way better than in the old world of guessing. And that's what makes AI so powerful, because we don't have to know everything about everyone in every store and every location. We just have to know enough so that in the world of math, with the data, we find enough signals that we can make a much better decision than the competition. And it's sort of like outrunning the bear, so to speak. You don't have to actually outrun the bear, you just have to outrun everybody else. And that's where AI is such an interesting business metaphor, and why it's such a huge innovation that Henkel X is driving into here in North America, because it's taking these new school capabilities. So one of the things that I was struck by with our conversation with the clients was that in the world of clients, they have all these silos of business processes and whatnot, right? And what Henkel's bringing now with us in collaboration is his ability to cross those silos within retail. So merchandising and supply chain and marketing, and then you have online marketing. And what you guys, why they lit up in the room and why we're so excited about it is because Henkel's enabling the client to cross all those silos and to make the decision, just like what you talked about. Say, forget about where the information is, I'm just trying to get to this holy grail answer. And that's what I think is so neat as the journey that you guys are leading Henkel here in North America with Henkel X in this whole new way of going about business. And I think it's just really the beginning, because it's all machine learning, which is the other part about AI that's so powerful, is that it just keeps getting better and better. So it's not like a one-time thing. And the other element about it, I think that they got really excited by, was that in traditional business, we're always looking at reports, right? That make us look in the rearview mirror to kind of decide what went well, what didn't go well. In this world, what's so neat about it is you're bringing now an innovation to this customer that allows them to look forward and actually do something that will affect business tomorrow, as opposed to just talk about what happened yesterday. And that's what I think gives you a little chills when you hear about the clients, when you see the clients' reactions, and that together partnering with them about bringing this new technology, this new capability. And I give you guys all at Henkel a lot of credit because it takes a lot of spirit of innovation to really bring this to the marketplace, but that's what creates competitive advantage. Yeah?
And we really appreciate Ramin bringing you to us because before Henkel X, we were not thinking about artificial intelligence. So once that introduction was made and we have his guidance and his CDO team, supporting us in a number of ways, we're able to really roll up our sleeves and dig in with you guys and understand not only the capabilities, but how they can work for our biggest customers. And so, what we're just about to embark on, within the next couple of days is starting a very big project where we're looking to find the hidden Persil consumer who lives around our key customers' stores. So what do I mean by that, the hidden Persil consumer? Well, that's a person that should be buying Persil, but isn't buying it right now. How do we find that person beyond lookalike model, right? How do we go to the next level, right? And find the high potential consumers and dig a moat around them, meaning surround them with precise communication on an ongoing basis to get them to change their behavior, come to this particular retailer and buy Persil, thus driving Persil growth and category growth. And when we explained how we're going to do that, the customer was just locked in and fascinated with the whole approach. And it was very believable. And I think part of what made it believable was we spelled it out in detail, right? It wasn't theoretical. Right? It was actually very practical.
Yeah, that's what's so cool about I think the Henkel X platform and how starting here in North America, what's neat is you're taking a set of capabilities of AI and we're sort of productizing them, right? We're sort of putting them in digestible, chewable chunks, like turn on the part that allows us to figure out where all the customers are and then feed that to the customer, right? The next one will be figure out which products should go on which shelf and then feed that into the customer's merchandising systems. So you know precisely which SKU, which of the hundreds of SKUs should go on precisely which shelf. So what's neat about it is like a journey into the new world that Henkel and Henkel X is really driving into customers. It's not just a one-time thing. It's not just a one idea thing. And as they start to look, because the other thing that they brought up, and it's interesting, they start to look to Henkel of using the incredible insight that you guys have into now what are the need states of consumers, and then how do you take all the R&D power that you guys have and then drive new product innovation into specific stores? How do you find and unearth those need states that are causing a much happier end consumer buying the product at the retail location? And that's where they got turned on. You guys missed that, I think, a little bit in that conversation, but I picked right up on that because they're all looking for the new big breakthrough in each individual store. So what's neat about it is those are really great next steps for them as a customer in really driving the Henkel X innovation. Yeah?
And I know we were talking a lot with the customer, and Paul was with us via a video conference call when we were chatting with this customer. But in fact, we didn't miss it. And when the call ended and you couldn't see the conversation anymore, they brought it up to us. They said, Ramin brought up this idea of finding white space, because Ramin was on the call as well, finding white space innovation opportunity. And they pulled me and some others aside and they said, we're really interested in that.
Right. Well, because they all know. So they know that in order to defeat the online retailers like the Amazons of the world, you can't just have the same thing that everybody else has. Right. You have to come up with something new and different. And it's not just a package, it's not just a promotion. It's a whole new set of features that come along with the product. And that's, I think that's very exciting. It's think of it as combining, Henkel X can drive the innovation and product R&D capabilities that it has literally into little micro pockets of opportunity, which are going to be hugely high margin and hugely valuable, right? So yeah, well, I'm very glad about that because that's, they're going to be a great kickoff first customer.
And to your point, we're building this data tool in the cloud, right, that we'll come back to again and again and again with new questions. Specifically what we're doing with R4 is we're feeding R4 and their capabilities lots of different data. Some of it is disconnected. Some of it is unstructured. We're giving you, of course, store level data from IRI. We're giving you, well, you have Pitney Bowes point of interest data and ground source data. There's information on the brand, historical brand performance that we're providing you with, marketing support that we've done for the brand. You're going to take all this data, and at the end of the day, what R4 is going to do is they're going to highlight for us on a map where you see all the customer stores in little red dots, the zip codes and the +4 or the block group level below those zip codes, right? Where these high potential consumers live. And so you'll have circles all over this map, and those are the places we need to focus on. But additionally, you're going to provide us with a segmentation of the people who live in those segments, rather in those zip code areas. So at the end of the day, we'll have a map. It'll have all the retailer stores on it. It'll have circles plotting the zip codes and the sub-zip code level areas that are most important. And there'll also be additional dots on the page that indicate the segments that we're going after. And those dots will be in different colors. There may be young families, there may be sports enthusiasts. Once we get that information, we'll be able to then address those consumers with media, mobile, display, a variety of different things that where we can reach people at the zip code and sub-zip code level. So we're super excited about the work that we're going to do with you. I know we only have a couple of seconds left. Is there anything else, Paul, that you wanted to kind of share with the group?
No, other than this is a very exciting time, and you guys with Henkel X and in Henkel here in North America, it's very cool because you're taking new school capabilities, right, and using the best of who Henkel is and driving that for the competitive advantage for the next 10 and 20 years, and it's all around the data and the math. And what's neat about it is to watch your customers get excited by it. It's just really neat because they need this innovation. They really, really do. And to watch them light up about it is, I think, makes it all really worthwhile. So, but thank you very much. I really appreciate the partnership, and we really appreciate the partnership with you guys and Henkel X and all of you guys. Sorry we couldn't be there with you, but it's exciting to be here on video.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Ken. Thank you, guys.